Okay, welcome back everybody. It is the second week of our Find the Fun in Feb challenge, which is run by Hazel and Candy, and their channels are linked as always in my description box below. Right, so today's prompt, without further ado, is stamps, postage, rubber and faux, or faux, I don't know. Anyway, I've tossed around a few ideas on this one, but as you can see, I've utilised my Cricut machine. Is that cheating? I don't know. Anyway, I've utilised my Cricut machine, and my initial aim was to cut some postage stamp edges like this. Now, I do have a die cut which is a postage stamp like this, but it's only really small, and I wanted to be able to vary the size. In fact, at one stage I was thinking of just doing one big one, but anyway, I've gone for some smaller ones. I've cut these out on my Cricut machine, and as I say, I was just aiming for this bit, but of course what you get is the centre bit as well. So I'm going to utilise those. I've got two different sizes, as you can see here, and one of the things I was looking at was making this page kind of cohesive with the previous one, you know, having a bit of a link, given that it's a double spread in my journal. And I have this set of stamps. Let's take that out of the way, and you might be able to see that better. Put that underneath, you can probably see them even better. There we go. And it's lovely ferns, and of course here in New Zealand we do have amazing ferns, and they are really beautiful. So that's where I'm going today. I've got these 4 stamps and these 4 stamps, so I'm going to be making stamps with stamps. Yeah, you can tell how my brain works, can't you? So my idea is that I'm going to be using those middle bits and stamping the ferns onto them. Before I do that, I want to colour that, give the base a bit of a colour. And then, of course, I also want to do something with my background. And I'm thinking that I might collage and then stick the stamps on. We'll see, that plan might change. But to start with, I'm going to put these pieces very carefully to the side, because I want those to stay white. And these 4 pieces, which are going to be the basis of my stamps, I want to get some colour on them. Now, let's think, how do I want to do that? I think I'm actually going to use my watercolours today. I haven't had these out in a while. So I've got these watercolours because I don't want too dark a base. I don't want anything too heavy, because I want the fern images to be the star of the show. So I've got a little drop of water here. I was drinking it, but that's okay. And I'm going to pick a colour. I've got this nice dark green ink. So I want something that's going to really stand out against. And I'm wondering, I'm going back to here actually, and I'm thinking about picking up maybe this blue here and maybe a bit of yellow, because as I say, it would be nice if that kind of carried across, wouldn't it? So maybe this blue here and some of the yellows. Let's have a go and see how we go. And I do want some variation here. I don't want the whole the whole background to look the same, which is why I'm just being quite I don't know whether careless is the word, but quite Actually, that's got quite a nice sort of ombre almost, hasn't it? Just see if we can get a little bit more colour up there. I'm going to let that dry, see how it goes. I might come in and add, oh, actually while it's still wet, I am just going to add in a touch of something else as well. As I say, I don't want them too plain. Now, watercolours are something I'm quite new to. I'm still sort of feeling my way and experimenting with them, so you know, don't I'm certainly not an expert on watercolours. Okay, I'm going to stop because I'm repeating the same thing and I'm losing that different colour that I put in there, so I'm just going to put a bit of that back in and a bit of this back in. Okay, that's okay. I'm going to stop. Right. Let's do one of these blue as well. Right. Let's get some yellow now. This is quite a orangey yellow. And this is a lighter one. So I wonder if I can blend those in the middle. I've got some beautiful watercolour books and I really want to make some time to sit down and really look at them and, you know, experiment with some of the exercises they have in them, just to be able to achieve some of the things I want to. See, I wanted that top a bit lighter. So if you know any good watercolour channels to follow, let me know. That'll be alright. Okay, let's get one of these done as well. I don't know if you can see, but this palette has got some lovely metallic sparkly colours. I'm just going to add a little bit of this sparkly one in, and these are really interesting because when you put them on it doesn't really, you can't see the metallicness, but when they dry and you turn them in the light you can. Okay, let's leave those to dry. Right, whilst those are drying, I'm going to start working on the background to my page, and I'm going to collage. And as you will see, I've pulled out my blue scraps drawer. I have a little drawer set with these plastic drawers in, and the drawers are all different colours, which is great. So what I tend to do is to sort all my scraps that are, you know, some of them are collage, some of them are just bits and pieces. There's magazine pages, but these, as you can see, these are all my sort of blue green maybe scraps. Yeah, it's the inside of an envelope, and I've got all sorts of different coloured drawers. And so when I want to do something like this, I'm very often wanting a certain colour, so I can pull out that drawer and, you know, on the whole, it will give me that colour that I'm looking for. So I'm just glancing through here to see what might be useful. There's some bits on the top here. So I'm going to go for sort of the blue-green, keep that same sort of feel for colours. I've also pulled out a few bits from my yellow drawer as well. So we'll see how we go. I'm going to collage the background. Oh, that's a gold bit, look. As a background for the stamps to go on. So let's do that. I'm going to be using Mod Podge. It's a matte Mod Podge. Excuse my arm, I'm just reaching across to grab my brush. I'm going to dry that off. This is my old tatty glue brush. The other thing I do have, which I thought might be quite fun, and this is an old airmail envelope. So sort of working on the theme of postage stamps, I thought it might be quite fun to include some of this as well. I also have another couple of envelopes like this, which have got kind of quite, you know, cool postmarks and things on. So if I can, I'll bring some of those into the background as well. Right, so that's that collaged. I'm going to put that aside to dry. Actually, I'm just going to put a little bit more. I can see that there's a little bit more needed there. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side to dry. It's quite a warm day today, so that shouldn't take too long. Now, I do have a bit of a concern about whether this background is going to look too busy. But if it does, I can knock it back a little bit with some gesso. So I'm not too worried for now. We'll tackle that problem when we come to it. All right, so let's put that aside. We'll come back and put our stamped images onto those pieces that we watercoloured earlier. So I've put those on a white sheet there just so that you can see them a little bit better. And if I turn those in the light, I don't know whether you can see that metallic sort of sheen on them now. But anyway, right, let's get some stamps on them. I've just been searching. I know that I have a smaller, cleaner acrylic block somewhere. Do you think I can find it? I don't know where it is. Never mind, we will make do. Now, this one I'm going to put on one of these taller stamps. There we go. Now, which was the other one? This one I think was going on here. Yeah, it just fits. Let's get that to stick properly. Now I did think about doing some of these in kind of a more brown colour, but I think I'm going to stick to the green today. And I'm going to angle this one slightly to get as much of it as I can on. Oh, that's nice. That's quite a detailed one, isn't it? Now let's go for one of the square ones. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm just thinking, I'm wondering whether I've got some really small number stamps somewhere. I have a feeling that I might have. So once these are stamped, I'll have a look. I'm going to come in on the diagonal with this one as well. Because stamps normally have their price on them, don't they? So I'm going to have a quick hunt in a minute and see if I've got, I'm pretty sure, I know I've got some tiny letters. I'm not sure if I've got some tiny numbers. If not, we might have to think of another way of doing it. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do this one on the diagonal as well. There we go. Beautiful. Right. Let me go and see if I've got those numbers. Here we are. These were the ones I was thinking of, and they do have numbers in them as well. Now, let's have a look. I think I'm going to go fairly retro on these in terms of the cost of stamps. Let's go for a 20 cents. Gosh, it's probably a long time since they've been. Oh, these are new. Look, gonna need cutting. Okay. So there's the 2 and the 0. Now let's see if we can get those on. Let's give me my block of white because that green ink is a little bit wet on the block and it's meaning that this is not wanting to stick. So that's better. Let's try again. I have a feeling this is why I haven't used these very much. I picked them up in a sale last year and I think I haven't used them very much because they're quite fiddly. I'm going to have to put my glasses on to see that properly. And you have to remember with these numbers to reverse them, of course, because they're going to be that way round. Now, because I'm going retro, I'm going to pull out the little C here for cents. Gosh, which way up does that go? Move them across now. Let's try this. I'm actually just going to stamp it onto the paper here first. Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? I'd quite like them a little bit closer together actually, but I'm only going to get that if I cut them down a bit. Let's try that. That's better, and hopefully we can Oh my goodness, these don't want to cling very well, do they? I'm almost thinking about using a little bit of double-sided tape. That's better. I'm happier with that. Right. Let's pop it on this one here. Oh, there we go. Now, oh, I've just dropped the others on the floor. Hang on. What I should be able to do is to take that 2 off. There's the one. I don't want to lose that. And we're going to go for a 50 cents for the next one. So I should just be able to pop the 5 there. Beautiful. Right. There we go. Right, I've got numbers stuck to my arms, they're going everywhere. Okay, I'm going to find something to put these in so that I don't lose them, and just give my other stamps a quick clean, and then we'll be back and start putting this together. I was just about to put those stamps away. I found all those numbers, and I suddenly thought, gosh, you know, stamps normally have the name of the country on, don't they? There is no way that I am going to get those letters to spell New Zealand, because it's just going to be too fiddly. But what I have done, if you have a look here, I've pulled out an N and a Z for New Zealand, and I thought, you know what, that's okay. That's a nod to the country, and the fact that, you know, stamps do usually have their country of origin on somewhere. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to pop a little NZ like that onto them. This is what you call artistic license. And in fact, this one I'm going to squeeze on sideways. There we go. All right, that makes me feel better. Right, now I'll put my stamps away and we'll come back and have a look and see how that background's doing. Right, so let's start bringing everything together. So this is what the stamps are going to look like. But I think my mistake was to pick the same colours for my collage. I probably should have picked a contrasting colour to the stamps because they're not going to show very well on there. So what I am going to do is to find my gesso, which I'm sure was here yesterday. Oh, there we go. And, oh, goodness me. Grab my brush again. dry it off. I've trimmed the edges off this paper, by the way. Oh, that might need sticking down. So I'm just going to take a bit of gesso and I'm going to knock some of these colours back a bit, and then we'll have another look. Now this may or may not work. If it doesn't, I'm going to paint over it. Yeah, I didn't think that one through carefully enough, and I should, as I say, have picked a contrasting colour. So maybe if I'd gone for the reds. Never mind, live and learn, don't we? All right, let's see how we go. Now, obviously these need to be put together. Let's just see what they're going to look like. I must want to swap those over. Right, I need to stand up and look from above for a minute. Bother. Okay, should I? Yeah, I definitely should have chosen a different colour, but can't do anything about that now. I don't really want to paint over the whole thing. I'm going to try something which is either going to really work or it's not. And if it doesn't, I may have to paint. Right. You've seen me use these before if you've watched any of my videos. These are some glimmer mist sprays that I picked up in an op shop a couple of months ago. And I've been playing with them and I love them. And I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to add the red. It's going to pick up the colour on here. And hopefully it'll give it that lift. Now, I just want a piece of scrap paper. Here we go. I'm just going to... Yep, all right. Actually, I'm going to put that there just to protect my desk a bit. Okay, hopefully that has provided enough of a sort of an overlay of colour. We'll see. I'm going to dry that before I do anything else and before I even try and put those stamp bits back on. Okay, let's try with our stamps again. I certainly think they're standing out a bit more. Is this going to be one of my favourite pages? I don't know. But you know, that's the fun of mixed media, isn't it? And do I want them spelled? I want to be able to see this. But also I don't want to lose this. So maybe let's swap these around a little bit. 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 Let's swap these and maybe we won't line them up quite so much. I'm just pausing to have a look. Right, I sat and looked at it for ages. What I've actually done, as you can see, is I've just made a little red envelope, and this is the nearest I've got to a postmark, so I've popped that stamp in there, and I think putting that in the middle is just going to give it a bit more of a focal point. So I'm going to pull out my Mod Podge again, and I'm going to stick all this down. Now I think my Mod Podge is going to be strong enough. If not, I have a slightly stronger glue here, and I won't be afraid to use it. Right, what I'm going to decide is how to layer these, and I think some might go over the top and some might go underneath. Okay, there's one last thing that I want to do. These are my water soluble crayons, and I'm going to use this, and I think I did this on that first page. I'm going to use this to put a bit of a red border around the page. I am just going to stick that corner down. There we go. So I'm going to run this crayon around the page like this. And you can see it will smudge nicely if I just do it with my finger. But if you add a little bit of water, you get a different effect again. So I'm going to do it with my finger first today, and just see whether that's enough or whether we need to add the water in as well. Oh, there's another piece that needs sticking. What I'm going to do is just, that's that same water I was using for my watercolour painting earlier. I've just dampened my finger, and you just get a little bit more control than if you're using a brush, I think. Can you see that's all just kind of softening and smudging out quite nicely? Now, my question is whether I want a bit down there. I do, it's just whether I can get it down there or not. Let's have a go. I wonder if that's not really going to make too much difference, is that? There we go. Now I am just going to use the tip of my brush because I think it will get in there better than my finger. But I've dried that brush off a little bit. It's not, you know, wet. That's quite cool actually, because it is going in between the spirals a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay. You know, you have those days when things don't go to plan. Never mind, I don't dislike it. It's come out better than I thought. So there we go, guys. There's my response to the prompt of stamps. We've used stamps to make a stamp, and we've got some references to letters and post and things in the background. All right. Hopefully Wednesday will be different. Our prompt on Wednesday is fantasy, fairies, dragons and mermaids. So, I mean, gosh, that is wide open, isn't it? I'm looking forward to that one. All right, so I will be back later in the week with that prompt. For now, thank you so much for watching. Ka kite anō.